dig into the latest Zoom features that enable users to be more successful at home and how you can maximize those features for DTEN devices. Next, we'll take a deep dive into new features that allow you to return to the office safely while maintaining productivity. We'll talk about the new virtual receptionist and Zoom kiosk features. These features are not limited to just buildings, of course. You can use these to educational institutions, community centers, and a number of other buildings as well. And lastly, we'll take a deep dive into the EDU space. So we'll hear from a school in California here that has been very successful during these times by adopting Zoom software with some DTEN devices. So we'll go into these three topics, and at the end, we'll have time left over for Q&A. So make sure you save your questions for Q&A at the end. And lastly, at the very end of the webinar, we'll have a QR code that you can scan on your phone to sign up for a one-on-one consultation with a Zoom DTEN product expert, so we can help you set up a solution for your institution that will allow you to remain successful while we're apart. So now I'm going to hand it off to Scott, and he's going to walk us through what we're seeing today and how best to maximize this time.
Yeah, thank you, Jackson. Appreciate everyone joining us today. So as you know, we've kind of been thrown for a loop lately with the way we learn, the way we work, trying to stay engaged and productive. And I think all of us can kind of share that feeling that the state of today may never return back to normal. And we need to face these new challenges. We need to be innovative, develop new solutions to help us stay productive. And I think the technology and the features that Zoom and DTEN are creating together, providing new solutions, are really going to help enable you and support you to continue on with work or school as you normally would. So we are working extremely hard to innovate and stay ahead of that curve. And I think you'll find the solutions we'll discuss today can definitely meet your needs regardless of your use case or your situation.
Awesome, guys. We're looking forward today to talking to you guys about all the exciting things that we're doing with DTEN here at Zoom. And I'd just like to kind of give an overview of what we've done so far with the DTEN team, right? So since day one of inception of DTEN, just to be clear, like Zoom, we made an investment in DTEN, knowing that they were going to build these products for us, these great all-in-ones, if you will, to the market, to be able to leverage the Zoom platform inside of many different spaces, right? Not just conference rooms, but spaces around your office center, right? Which now is really starting to take hold, because we're talking to tons of customers now and returning to the office. And one of the things that we keep hearing over and over again is we need collaborative types of devices like the DTEN, right? All-in-ones, touch displays that they can simply take out of the box, simple to install, right? Power, Ethernet, or wireless, right? We have tons of use cases specifically in EDU where wireless has come through shining for us to be able to add the ease of use and setup, right? So again, we've made this investment in DTEN knowing that they're going to build these great products for us to be able to deliver to you guys out there today. Another thing we've done is with the DTEN team is this is the DTEN Me, which we'll talk about today, right? This is the first all-in-one unit, personal device, using a personal Zoom Room license for the home user. So this is a first in class in the market today. So we'll talk a lot about that because we've been getting a lot of success with this one for home users, and we're starting to see it as well in the EDU space as well. So really, really cool stuff with that, the DTEN Me. And then I'll just say, like, with the DTEN Me, another first that we had with the DTEN Me team was virtual backgrounds. So now we have virtual backgrounds coming from a DTEN Me, which essentially is a small Zoom room, right? And now we have that embedded in there. So this is, again, a first that we've been able to develop with the DTEN team out there. So a lot of innovation coming between Zoom and DTEN. And we look forward to talking to you guys about that today.
Great. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mark. And I think with that, let's jump right into our first topic, which is how to become a remote work rock star. I think that's a really nice segue. Talking about the Zoom for Home DTEN Me.
Yeah, so it's great what DTEN and Zoom have done. We've taken that very familiar experience of in the office where you are used to a conference room, You're used to those features, the technology that you would get in a conference room in the office. And we've brought that home. We've allowed the home user, the remote worker, to still access fantastic features and also work anywhere. So what you're used to spending a lot of money, a lot of time. We've been working with facility managers, IT directors, engineers to bring that very useful, professional, powerful feature set and brought it home in a 27-inch device that is allowed to live on your desk, giving you complete freedom, flexibility, but you still have that reliability at a professional level now at home. So it's really allowed businesses to continue to work without any interruption in their ability to collaborate and communicate and really bring that powerful feature set home. Another great thing that you get being a personal device is the ability of a Zoom room or a personal Zoom room to still have your contacts, your calendar resources, and our engineering teams were the first to bring virtual background to your home on an appliance that's stable and reliable and still gives you even more bonus added features than you might be used to in the office. So here we'll cut to this 3D landscape of what you can experience at home with the Zoom for Home D10 Me. So not only do you get your meetings, your very powerful meeting software, you also get some of the collaboration tools that you would get from Zoom Rooms. So the virtual background, the whiteboarding, the annotation, all those very powerful professional tools now in a 27-inch device that includes all your peripherals. It's all in one. You can literally sit it on your desk, plug it in for power, connect to Wi-Fi, and you have everything that you're used to from your Zoom room, including high quality HD camera, multiple microphones, the touch screen. It's all here in a very convenient package.
And I want to add to that as well. If you look at the D10 Me, we wanted to make it super simple. And when we mean super simple, you can see here that it has the same interface that any of our Zoom rooms has. So anybody who's used a Zoom room in the past will know how to use it based on the UI, but we wanted to also think about out of the box experience, right? So think about when I get a Roku or an Apple TV at home and I start setting up my apps on it, it's super simple for the user to get a URL and go online and pair it. So we wanted to make it super simple for an end user, not have to go back to IT and get on the call and spend an hour with IT to try and get this thing provisioned. So right out of the box, as you take it out, I simply put my Zoom Room, regular Zoom Room license on this, and it automatically pairs, and that's how I get my calendar integration, and that's how I initially get set up. So I have no intervention whatsoever with an IT team. It just works right out of the box. It's super simple, and we wanted to make sure that that was going to be the experience from the second you take it out.
Very quickly, let's look at the product video actually that Zoom produced for the D10 Me. I think it really sums up a lot of what we just talked about really nicely and focuses on a couple of use cases, including education, which is super important for this product. Again, the D10 Me, it's Zoom for Home. It is
performance is there to really excel your work from home experience. DTEN really went above and beyond to design all the features, all the hardware you're going to need to have a reliable, highly quality, professional meeting environment. Zoom's worked really hard to develop this personal Zoom room that allows you to access the device from your personal license, which is great. So we've had a ton of companies, even up to EDU, embracing the DTEN-Me, deploying it to their remote workers. It's very easy to ship directly to a home, someone that's working from home, manage that device remotely using the device management portal. And we've really seen a lot of success stories rolling out the DTEN-Me, and it's just a fantastic solution to the environment that we're currently in. So let's go to return to the office. So as we know, a ton of buzz from companies on how do we return to the office, what solutions are being created to help enable us to do so safely, and also still provide that technology and the performance that we're used to. So we have a lot of new solutions featured today that will help you do that return to the office in a safe manner when it's time to effectively do so. So let's kick it off with a short video that was shown at Zoomtopia with the DTEN-Me and how this can also be used as a virtual receptionist as you enter the building.
As you all know, how and where we work is changing, so I wanted to show you all the things Zoom is doing to make it super safe and easy for you to re-enter the office. Even from the moment you walk in, you can get checked in virtually through our Zoom Rooms kiosk mode. Hey Dava, how's it going?
Hey Esther.
And then from there, they can do what's needed to make sure I can enter the building.
Yeah, Mark, I think this is something that we've been excited about for a long time. I know our Zoom Rooms customers are really excited about the new features and options you have to set up your hardware and devices. And I think that the virtual receptionist is definitely a home run for companies to find that safe alternative to personal contact and how to still navigate an office environment using the technology and solutions we've created.
Yes, and you know, and I've been part of this industry now for over 15 years. And I can say that, you know, in the past when we're always asked, how do I do a virtual kiosk? How do I do this type of environment? And it was always extremely difficult because there was no such thing as an out-of-box experience. It was always, I need to go get some sort of integrator. I need custom code. I need a bank of operators. There was so much to go into this, right? Using multiple third-party applications to put together a kiosk mode. And now with us working with the DTEN-Me team, we're able to roll these out with the Me's, or the ONs you're going to see, or the D7s. It just works, right? So you put our device in kiosk mode, we can customize the interface now. So it's not something that, you know, you have to use the out-of-the-box UI. It's something you can customize as a customer, Acme Corp, with any type of background that you want. You simply hit the button to connect or always have it on. The operator could be there, virtual receptionist could be there, and monitoring multiple buildings or multiple office lobbies. So again, very, very cool. And it's all out of the box experience. You simply go to our portal. Once it's in kiosk mode, you're able to configure the screen. You're able to set rules of where the calls go when an individual walks into the office and clicks on the Meet button. So very, very easy to use. Again, we'll add a lot more feature set coming in the roadmap as well with that one. And works out of the box. There's no additional licensing needed. You simply just need a Zoom Room license and you're off and running.
And I think that's great. A great feature with either appliance, right? Whether you want one or multiple 27-inch devices, you can easily deploy those in lobbies. When you get out of elevators, escalators, you have that contact point that you can literally place anywhere in an office environment. But it also is popular with the 55-inch as well. So if you're looking for a bigger display, more options, this really is a great evolution of kind of the inner office portal that we started to see, where floors, multiple buildings in different locations are still tapping to communicate with other employees, with their counterparts. And now this kind of just puts that ribbon around the whole thing that makes it easy to set up, easy to deploy, And I think making that upgrade to Zoom rooms, this is a huge value add for any company looking to return to work.
Yeah, while you're talking, I advanced the slide here to show this virtual receptionist mode, right? So we can see a little bit more in depth here. I think really helps explain what you guys are both just describing about this feature.
And we've already talked to a lot of customers with this as well. And I could tell you that, we start off with virtual receptionist, but it quickly turns into, if I'm a retail store, can I have a specialist in an aisle? There's so many other use cases for it, not just virtual receptionist. I think we're just now starting to scratch the surface on the different ways that we can use kiosk mode, within the healthcare industry, right? If I want to have maybe a specialist remotely there, I can have it right there with the screen as well. We're no longer locked to that. And I think with the pandemic, we've learned that a lot more telehealth is happening now, right? So these are the types of things we could do with the kiosk mode to get to the right person quicker. And something really cool you can see here, the urban stand as well. Very cool, because this is something that's shipping today, in 2021. And you can see here, it's a different way you could put this device in multiple places. And Scott, I know you have more there on the urban side.
Yeah, I just think it's a great collaboration that really brings this feature deployable, very easy. So we'll have a single SKU available where you can purchase the stand and the Me together, and you can deploy these into lobbies. Where we've seen a lot of interest outside of companies, also even down to doctors' offices and dentists' offices, and they're all coming to DTEN and Zoom to find solutions to have that contactless point of check-in. And I think this is going to be a great solution for a lot of different companies and a lot of different segments to help deploy kiosk mode and the virtual receptionist. And facility managers love it too, right? Because they can plan new designs, they can plan floor guidelines and hardware guides and say, we can place these things anywhere. You literally plug it into a wall, the Me connects to Wi-Fi, it's highly reliable, and it's the performance to fully support the Zoom Room kiosk mode. So a lot of customers are really excited about having this option at their fingertips, and it gives another great value add to that Zoom Rooms license, being able to deploy this.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions about digital signage in the chat, which I think is a really nice segue into some of the next topics that we're talking about here in the office. First, let's take a look at the in-office phone booth.
And, Mark and I spend a lot of time talking to facilities managers, and they're constantly, asking about, what solutions are available to me outside of the classic conference room or outside of the classic huddle room. And I think that a big trend we're going to start seeing are these individual personal workstations where you can still collaborate, still have the technology and the features that you're looking for, whether you're in a phone booth setting, a small 1 to 2 person environment, even hot desking. So I definitely know that Mark has some great insight into some of these trends with facilities and some of the solutions that are really helping our customers succeed.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of this trending, right? So not just trending, the planning stages are happening now on how customers are doing the hoteling and hot desking. And the thing that always comes up is, how do I put a single device in there where a user can simply walk in, pair to it, and it becomes their device for the next hour, day, or however long they're going to use it. And if any of you guys out there saw Zoomtopia, we have a feature coming out in January called pairing. With the pairing mode, this simply means I walk into this DTEN Me here, right? It could be in a little hoteling, little huddle space, and I simply have my cell phone here or my laptop, and it's going to ask me if I want to pair to the device. Once I pair, my calendar goes up there, right? I got all my meeting invites. I can automatically start sharing wirelessly. All that's involved, right? All that's involved here is me to initiate the pair, and that device becomes mine for the day. So all my video and audio will happen on that device. So very, very cool. And again, with the unknown of how much real estate, a lot of these companies that we're talking to, going back to the office, they don't necessarily have a lot of dedicated spaces. They're going to have a lot of shared spaces. And this is, again, a way to go and leverage them, as well as with like what we're talking about earlier. Scott mentioned contactless, right? Not touching it. And that's another thing that we'll be able to do is walk into these spaces, not have to touch anything in the room. If I don't want to touch the all-in-one, I simply go ahead and pair to my laptop, start the meeting, wireless screen share without ever having touched anything in the room or the space.
Yeah, very exciting stuff, and I think it's really going to help, the Zoom and DTEN customer really plan, right, what this office environment is going to look like. And I think it's a great point. So as Jackson brought up, Mark, being the expert here on digital signage with the Zoom room, I think it's a great time to bring that up and let you go ahead and talk about that extreme value proposition with that being built into a Zoom Rooms license.
Yeah, the cool thing here is again, we're constantly asked, how much is digital signage and what extra licensing do I have to purchase? And the answer is no additional licensing, right? So as long as you have one Zoom Room license for the organization, you get unlimited digital signage. And with unlimited digital signage, that allows you to be able to go and get more of these hardware devices to put out there to get more digital signage to your organization. The cool thing what we're doing now is, you can get messages like this room is designed for X amount for occupancy levels, right? We could do things like take the telemetry. So with the telemetry in the room, it simply means that, I want to know yesterday how many people were in the conference room, how many people used it. These are the types of things now that we feed up to the Zoom cloud and Zoom device management, Zoom device portal, if you will, so that you can get a dashboard and have all this data, right? So moving back, I think in the past it was like, we don't really care about having all this data, but now post-pandemic, we're starting to hear we need all the data so we can build our spaces out a lot better. And using the DTEN devices, we can feed the telemetry back into the dashboard that you guys set up for your organization and have all that there, right? And as well as feedback, if you will, all the digital signage throughout the organization that we want to have out there. So very, very cool stuff. And again, it's unlimited digital signage as long as you have one Zoom Room license within the organization.
Yeah, and I love the creative ways we've seen, companies using digital signage now, with half or even all of their workforce remote. It allows you to push, important company information, reminders, a lot of creative ways. Digital signage is currently being used, and that'll push to any DTEN device since you're logged in there into a Zoom Room environment. So definitely a great value add for that Zoom Room license.
So we have a lot of really great questions coming in. I just want to remind everybody, if you can direct those to the Q&A section, we'll definitely address those at the end. A lot of really great questions about digital signage specifically, so I think we'll get to that as we close out the webinar here.
Yeah. So, some questions about kiosk and digital signage, right, popping in. So just to refresh, you can log in with any Zoom license as a personal device. So you will have your own contacts, you will have your own calendar, but you'll be able to whiteboard, join meetings from that license that you currently have. The real upside here, the value is in that Zoom Rooms license. So that's going to open up all these great features that we're talking about, including the kiosk mode that's available with your Zoom Room license, the kiosk device. You can get that with the Zoom Room license, and then that one Zoom Room on your account is going to allow you to manage and control all of this digital signage throughout your company, throughout a fleet of devices, all managed remotely.
So let's talk a little bit more about what's happening in the EDU space. I think there's some really exciting things coming out of Zoom, certainly that will really benefit teachers, and already are, of course, both educators and students alike. So let's hear really quickly from Monte Vista Christian School out of California. They've brought in some DTEN boards and are using Zoom across the campus, and are having some pretty good success there.
So when we're separated, specifically in theater, where you really need that ensemble feel to do, because doing things in front of each other is really what stretches you. So the DTEN board for me has been life-changing in all of this.
We really did love the DTEN, and it was connected to Zoom, which we'd already loved as well. and had spent a lot of time building capacity and training on, then that marriage kind of solidified that focus of where we sit today.
This allowed
So when we're
keep it relevant for the presentation, but I think what was really interesting in that clip is they talk about using it for theater, for ensemble. I think that's a pretty amazing application of Zoom and a D10, D7 board.
Yeah, and I would say that you know, the schools that are now planning for the post-pandemic and planning for, I know we still kind of, everybody's remote with the school learning year coming up in January. I think there was a lot of plans to go back now. That's going backwards. Maybe we're seeing all remote students or a blended environment. But one of the cool things is we did see some schools that had the 50-50, if you will, some students at home, some students in the classroom, that leveraged the all-in-ones, the D10 boards. We're getting so many cool stories where in the past they would have these smart boards in the classroom, they would sit in the back, collect dust. Now they're going and getting 100% utilization, right? They're using these all day, every day. And we're hearing that some of the things that post-pandemic instructors are going to want to do is they don't want to be at a desk, right? When you have a complete remote, if you will, all your students are remotely, it's a little bit easier to sit at the desk and have that teaching environment and that motion. But with these, every time we interview a lot of our schools, they all say the same thing. Instructors want to be mobile, right? They want to get up, they want to move around. And when you build it in this way with a 45-degree angle, looking at the classroom, the remote students get to see still their classmates and the instructor. The instructor gets to see everyone at the same time as well. So we're getting really, really good reviews with this type of environment, right? Specifically in the blended environment. So this is something that's going to be able to live on post-pandemic as well. In the future, when we hopefully have all the students back in the classroom, we only have 2 or 3 students maybe out one day or one, they're still able to participate with this device without anchoring an instructor down at their desk. So, you know, we're seeing that a lot. We definitely want to get that message out there that schools are becoming extremely successful with that blended environment and learning this. We even had a school, myself and Scott, that we were on with, and an instructor told us they were so happy with the device, they were able to actually not come to campus. The students were on campus in this environment, and the instructor came on remotely and still taught via this method here, right? So how cool is that, that the school didn't have to scramble to get a substitute teacher that day. The instructor had so much confidence in the D10 product that they remotely taught the class that day. So is that going to work everywhere? Maybe not, but it is an option moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. And Scott, I don't know if you want to add more there.
No, I just think that, you know, the reliability, the simplicity is really what's driving a lot of the decision making at EDU, because, you know, the same as any D10 device, you plug it in, it requires power, you can connect to Wi-Fi. So when you're in situations that might not be Ethernet enabled, you don't really have to worry about that whole integration aspect, right? The D10 is all in one, it's plug and play, but yet it's super reliable. And I think that's very important in EDU, is that consistency of reliability. So the teacher, you know, feels secure in their presentation. It's allowing the students to feel engaged and still in the room. And then you have those powerful collaboration tools that allow everyone to really stay on task, stay on topic. And then some great features that have been rolled out by the Zoom team, like breakout rooms on a device, being able to see chat, but you still get all those controls of muting participants, and the teacher can really, you know, engage and manage the classroom. So great aspects from either the teaching side or the student side. It's just really that immersive environment that makes both sides feel like they're still in a traditional class environment. And I think it's really helped the success of hybrid learning in all the institutions that we've been there to support along the way.
And one last thing I'll mention as well, D10, you guys did a really good job of making these easy to install, right? Because again, in the past, classrooms would be difficult to install, right? Because you need ceiling mics, you need microphones. It's so much easier now to take this all-in-one device. Anyone can install it. Usually facilities teams can do it. We still here at Zoom have a professional services offering. We'll go and install it for you guys. However, these devices are simple enough that if you need to get one and get out of the box experience, it's simple to set up. So that's an important thing moving forward, because as we scale this out, right, to the millions of classrooms, we're gonna need devices that are gonna be simple to install. They can't be difficult, right? So we can't reiterate that enough, that simplicity in the installation is definitely top of mind with everybody that we talk to these days.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I think it's a good
installation
point.
and also price point, right? I think a lot of institutions were surprised when they got their total project quote on what it would do to completely change into hybrid learning, because the cost of a normal integration project for technology drastically gets reduced when you use an all-in-one, when you use something as easy to set up, as simple as a DTEN device, along with that Zoom Room license. I think we've had a lot of happy customers once they realize that the cost of deploying all these devices is much less than they expected, and they're able to multiply the number of rooms and the number of devices that they have access to just because of that environment there.
So as you know, to sum it up, as we approach kind of 2021 and hopefully we get out of the pandemic, these devices will help you post-pandemic as well, right? They're not a solution that's a band-aid for today only. They will live on. And I think you can talk to a lot of our customers, like we showed you earlier today in the clip that Jackson sent out. We have the references, we have the use cases where they've used these, and their plans are to continue to use them post-pandemic. It's not a band-aid for today. So we're going to see a lot more of it, and you're going to need something that's going to be scalable. So this is definitely a scalable solution, as Scott was mentioning.
Our firmware and our software features, our roadmap, our upgrades, that's the great thing about the DTEN Zoom solution, is it's going to continuously evolve, continuously get better, provide you more features, and it's just a never-ending advancement of your experience in your hardware software environment that we're constantly working to perfect and bring you features that you need to make you successful.
And to that point, as Scott was saying, a lot of our roadmap that we're doing right now, specifically with these all-in-ones and the whiteboarding, comes from the EDU space, right? We're getting tons of requests on what a living whiteboard is, how do we annotate better, all these types of things that we're moving with our roadmap into 2021 for Zoom Rooms and all-in-ones. You'll see a lot of innovation come out that way that will be able to be leveraged not just in EDU, right, but in the enterprise in a lot of different spaces. So a lot of exciting stuff coming in 2021. We showed some of that in the Zoomtopia videos that we created earlier, and with the Zoomtopia event we had. So we'll pass that out as well, and you can go back and review that. But a lot of innovation coming there.
Yeah, and I think it's great, to kind of give a sneak peek at even this current model that we're watching here. This animation shows you the powerful, impact that collaborating and annotation is going to have real time. But then to even multiply that experience by saving that whiteboard, putting it in a chat room, sharing it with the class so they can have it later, you can recall it later, continue to work and build on that same project, I think just has tremendous upside for education.
Couldn't agree
more.
more.
Another question about that too, thrown in by Misha and Murray. Can a second can be connected to show a lab setup or an art class work table? And it's funny because this use case that we're seeing here is exactly that, right? There's that document camera set up on a D7. Like you were saying, Scott, allows you to record that presentation and have it on demand for students that might not be able to attend class during that specific time period.
Mm-hmm.
So I think really what we're talking about here is simplicity in design, simplicity both in the Zoom rooms, right? Zoom takes so much time and they put so much energy and thought into developing solutions that are simple to use, easy to use, and intuitive. Same with DTEN, right? So we co-engineer a lot of our solutions, as we've been talking about, to do exactly that. So on the left here, you can see some of the features that DTEN solutions provide, like crystal clear audio, lifelike video for clear video conferencing, digital whiteboarding. But it's about that simple, easy setup that really makes both of our solutions really excel, and specifically for you as the end user, for you as the installer, and ultimately you guys are accountable for your end users to make sure that they're able to use these solutions effectively.
Yeah. And, you know, the great thing about the all-in-one, from the touchscreen to the microphones to the camera, the speakers, it's all locked in and it's reliable day in and day out. And I think that's a great advantage over piecemeal solutions where you're using multiple pieces of hardware to create your solution. You're only as strong as your weakest link. And with a DTEN device, super reliable. You know that you're going to tap the screen to start a meeting and you're going to be seen. You're going to be heard clearly. You're going to have everything there that's super reliable. And I think that's been great from companies to education, you know, across the board. A lot less time troubleshooting, talking to IT, networking, setting all these things up. They're virtually plug and play. So once you connect to Wi-Fi, you boot up to the Zoom Rooms for Touch environment, and you're there, you're ready. And that's day in and day out. And I think that, you know, Mark, regardless from the teachers we talk to or the companies, that peace of mind, that security, that reliability is worth far more, right, value than if they would overspend to try and come up with a more complex solution.
Couldn't agree more. And I think you might, Scott, be underselling your microphone technology, right? So the microphone technology and these all-in-ones, I can't reiterate enough, it's super powerful, right? So it's an array of microphones that sits on top of all these all-in-ones. And we've had simulated classrooms back in the summer, prior to school starting. And we would always be sitting in classrooms with instructors saying, how do I know if the kids can hear me? And we would sit there and simulate the classroom for them, and they would walk around and just be amazed that they didn't have to get any lapels or any type of microphones to be able to be heard, because this truly does get a wide pickup range, right? And the beamforming also does things like it focuses in on the speaker and filters out the background noise. These are, to Scott's point, the important things of being able to teach transparently, right? Or if I'm in a regular meeting, same thing. I don't want to have to think about where the microphone is. I simply speak and it picks me up, right? So very, very powerful microphones. And without audio, you don't even have a meeting, right? So I think that was Scott's point, right? That is the most important aspect of it. And you guys have done a great job of nailing that.
Yeah, appreciate it. So the hardware, DTEN is a great AI company. We've done a lot to focus on the processing, and that's kind of where we talk about the integration with DTEN and Zoom being so important, is because we design this hand in hand to optimize every single part of that experience.
Yeah, we've had some questions about, does the camera follow a little bit, right? We do want to talk about a little bit about how the camera intuitively will follow the speaker.
Yeah, sure. So in our D7 model, that's our Windows-based unit. You've seen that being used in some of the solution sets and animation that we've seen. That's our 55-inch or our 75-inch model. That does have EPTZ, and it also has auto framing. So that's why educators really like the D7. It allows them that freedom to walk back and forth, still be in their natural environment of how they like to teach. It'll pick up the board behind them, but yet as they kind of move around the room, our AI camera will keep you in frame, will zoom in on you, follow you around the room. So you can currently access that technology in our D7 device, and then we'll roll that out to appliances and eventually the Me over the next 3 months.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Scott. So we left a lot of time for Q&A, which is great because we've had quite a few questions come in. And I think right now, I just want to say thank you everybody for joining us today. Please stick around. We're going to go through quite a bit of questions here in a minute. But on the screen here, you can see a QR code. If you scan this QR code with your phone, it'll allow you to set up a one-on-one consultation with a DTEN Zoom product expert, as I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. This will allow you to try Zoom Rooms, you get a Zoom Rooms license, and a DTEN D7 free for 30 days. So that'll give you an entire month to really try out a solution for yourself, get a good feel for how it works, really feel for yourself what it means to experience true collaboration, You know, a lot of the questions I'm seeing coming in about the cameras, about the microphones, about a lot of the technology in there, this will really give you the opportunity to try it for yourself. And I think it's a really good program offered by both DTEN and Zoom. So make sure you really utilize that. That's available for you.
Absolutely, and I think that's, you know, really where we separate ourselves, is that ability to try it. You know, it's a webinar. We're in a virtual environment, but we're willing to back up the statements with our trial program. So it's over 90% successful. You know, when the customer actually has the device, they have that Zoom Room license, that experience is unparalleled. And we are, you know, we are ready and positioned to offer that trial for EDU or for a company. And we definitely stand behind the comments that we're making today. And it's just an exceptional experience above and beyond the technology that you're used to using.
So you've had quite a few questions coming in about interoperability with other platforms. Mark, did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the questions that saw pop up as well is, do you connect to other web collaboration platforms in the cloud? And the answer is absolutely. So, and that is, again, using all the DTEN portfolio. With the Zoom Cloud, we have interop, which means that you'll be able to connect to those third parties out there, and we're constantly adding more. So in January, we update that and we add more integrations to some of the other cloud providers out there. And I'll just mention one of the big ones, right, is Microsoft. We will have Teams integration early next year, where we basically can do a direct dial into one of those meetings. We have it already today for some of the popular ones like WebEx. You know, we have BlueJeans, a lot of those out there, and we're constantly adding more. So yes, we do interop, and it's not limited. You're not locking yourself in with DTEN to only a Zoom meeting. We will be able to join additional meeting platforms with any of the DTEN products.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
And then
some questions coming in too about. Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
That's okay. Yeah, just a lot of kiosk mode questions, Mark, as we expected, right? A lot of people chomping at the bit to try the virtual receptionist, the kiosk mode. So the good news is that's currently in beta this month with a planned release for January 24th. So it is right around the corner. It's something that you can start to plan for immediately. And we expect that to be available here very, very soon.
Yeah, and again, how cool is it that with the DTEN Me or one of your bigger screens, 55 or 75, all I need is that screen, a DTEN, and the Zoom portal, and I am off and running with kiosk mode. I don't have to do any custom code writing. I don't have to go hire anybody to do it. I can simply do it with the existing tools that we have today with your Zoom portal.